Hopefully you were able to see the basic encounter that I put together with Activity Tracker. This is a new encounter with some different features. I put this one together specifically to show zones, which are locations that the PCs and NPCs can move about in the tracker, and tags, which allow effects to happen based on things that happen during the encounter. So this encounter is about three lizard men that come out of some reeds and try to make their escape from the party. You can see here three lizard men burst from the reeds in a thrash of scale and river stink, eyeing the bridge over the Murkwater as their last hope for escape. The bridge here is pretty rickety, so the players, given the intent, can choose to attack the bridge and potentially have things happen as a result. So what we're going to do is, again, with the activity tracker, I'm going to go into reading mode, which enables the tracker, and hit run encounter. I'll select the sample third level party from here to get some predefined party members in. And you can see there's something different here than there was before because it's defined in this encounter. I've got south of bridge over here, and this is a drop down that shows different locations that are available for this character to start in. So I'm going to have the starting character start south of bridge. The lizard men are also going to start south of bridge. I'll have them all start in the same place, and you can see that their initiative is reroll or pre-rolled. I'm only going to add two characters to this one for the sake of the demo. So I'll double click here and double click there and get some. Let's try that one again, just so I have a different number. And so 10 and 3 for their initiatives. And we'll click start to get going. So first up is Lizard Man 1. He comes out of the reeds and he really wants to make a run for that escape. But before he does, he is going to slap Garrick around. So I'm going to attack Garrick. And this is the first look at the target tracker, target selector, rather, with zones enabled. So you can see here, everybody is south of bridge, and it shows the lizard man as here. So here's lizard man 1. And everything that's in his zone is shown at the top in the south of bridge. You can see there's another location here that's on bridge that has the Murkwater Bridge in it, which is an object that I created for the encounter in advance, just so that I would have the object to demonstrate. You can see that, I've got hit points allocated to the lizard men as usual. The bridge has 3 hit points allocated to it, which will come up later. But the lizard man is going to attack Garrick, so I'll have him hit Garrick. He's going to bite him, give him some damage. And we're just assuming for the sake of this demo that all attacks hit. We'll just make it super easy. We'll give him the multi-attack. We'll do the heavy club. Commit. All right, so we've got that 7 piercing, 5 bludgeoning applied to Garrick. And then we're going to do something we didn't do in the first demo and have the lizard man move to a different zone. So here's the move button. We'll click that. And you can see all the zones that I have in the encounter all listed here. These buttons down here are preposition buttons. So this is over, beside, in, and under, which can be used to have a character move around within a zone. You can add new prepositions. Obviously, you can't really add icons, but you can add words, just like you can add new locations at any point in the game. And if a character just completely flees from the combat, you can click the flee button, and that'll keep them from being a target or showing up in the initiative to take a turn. But for now, that lizard man, he's going to move to on bridge. So I'm going to have him move from south bridge to on bridge. I'll hit commit. And one thing that maybe is worth demoing here is the attack of opportunity. So clearly, the lizard man moved out of the threat range of Garrick. So I'm going to click the actor selector and then choose Garrick. So he's going to take a turn outside of his normal turn. And then I'm going to have him attack Lizard Man 1, who is now on the bridge. Hit him with the longsword. Apply damage. And normally, and this is going to come up a few times actually, I might need to do something to make this a little easier. But because Garrick is performing a melee attack on a creature that is not in his current zone, it's going to try to move him to the zone of the thing that he's attacking automatically. We don't want to do that. We want to hit him on his way out of his original zone. So I'm going to remove on bridge. So remove that from his move, and then I'm just going to commit that. So he'll do 10 damage to that lizard man. All right. So the lizard man's turn is done, and now I'm going to hit next turn, and it's actually Garrick's turn. So on Garrick's turn, he'll attack something that's actually in his zone. So lizard man 1 is no longer in his zone. He's going to attack lizard man 2. He'll hit it with the longsword. We'll do damage, and hit commit. Garrick only gets 1 attack on his turn, apart from that reaction from earlier. All right, so let's move on. Lizard Man 2. Lizard Man 2 will once again attack Garrick. He's going to do some biting. He'll do some clubbing. Garrick's taking the brunt of the damage this round. And then he is also going to move to on bridge. So we've got the attacks. He moves on bridge. Garrick took his attack of opportunity already this round, so that's the end of Lizard Man's turn. Lizard Man 3 will come up, and he is going to attack Sister Marin, just because she happens to be standing there. Now, all this might take place a little bit differently on your table. You can imagine miniatures and how they're moving next to each other. The zones are just kind of conceptual zones. They're not really meant to track specific positions on the table. Really, this is more about getting an idea of what's happening in the flavor of combat than it is about the very specific recording of who moves where and specific coordinates, stuff like that. That's way too much to keep track of during the game. But for our purposes, and you'll see why all this works out at the end, just tracking zones is quite adequate for what we want to accomplish. So he's going to hit Sister Marin with the bite, and then he's going to, once again, hit with the club. Lizard men are doing lots of damage today. Sister Marin will then take her. Oops, I actually have to have him move first, technically, I guess. So let's have him move. He's going to go on the bridge. And because he moved out of her threat range, she will then be able to make her attack of opportunity. Have him hit Lizard Man 3 with the mace. Do some damage. You have to remove that move action that got tacked on there because it wants to move her to be near where he is. And then she took that attack of opportunity. Then it becomes her turn. On her turn, she notices that all the lizard men are on the bridge, and the bridge is looking pretty rickety. So maybe to save a whole bunch of extra rounds of attacks, she decides that she is going to attack the bridge. And she's going to hit it with her mace. And the mace is going to do... Oh, that's not quite enough damage. Let's try changing that to a 3, just to make sure that we've killed the bridge. And we don't want her to move to the bridge, so we're going to take that off there. That automatically moves her to the bridge, because that's where the bridge is. And then we'll commit that, and then interesting things happen. So there was a tag on the bridge called Bridge Collapse, and then it gives us this notice that anyone on the bridge makes a DC 13 save, DC 13 deck save, or they take 3d6 bludgeoning, and they save for half. So let's resolve this. So we'll hit resolve, and then we'll pick target. So it's going to be anybody who's on the bridge. I can tap on bridge, and it will give me everything that's on the bridge that's not already dead. And I don't know, let's say Lizard Man 2 made his save, so he only takes half damage. All right. Then 3d6 bludgeoning will be, let's say it did really well, maybe, I don't know, 14? Sounds good. All right, apply. So then you see in the log, we got the Murkwater Bridge died, which is weird for a bridge, but there you go. Bridge collapse. Murkwater Bridge effects Lizardman 1 dealing 14 bludgeoning, Lizardman 2 dealing 7 bludgeoning because he took half, remember, and then Lizardman 3 dealing 14 bludgeoning. Lizardman 1 died as a result of that. Oh man. So that's not resolved. We can dismiss it. And then we have a couple Lizardmen left. The Lizardmen, though, I think they're in the water now. So let's click Lizardman 2, and we're going to move him. And I don't have any river option here, so just for the sake of making us, river, we'll add a river zone. And now I'll move him to the river. Commit. And then Lizardman 3. I will also move to the river. All right. And then I think that's everything for this is Sister Marine's turn. Yeah, Lizardman 1 died. Bridge collapse ended on Murkwater Bridge. Lizardman 2 moves to the river. Lizardman 3 moves to the river. And then we can get on with the encounter. So I think the last time I tried demoing this, I had a spellcaster or someone with some ranged weapon. Let's see if I got... you can try to hit the Lizardman in the river with a thrown axe. That'll work. Ooh, hit him for 9. So Lizardman 3 is dead. That's crazy. And then Lizardman 2, I think he's just going to swim this turn. So we can put a note here, swims for his life, and commit that. And then Sister Marin could maybe, I don't know if she's got a ranged spell that can do 10 damage. Sacred Flame, no. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do it. We can cheat a little bit, though. All right, so Sacred Flame. Normally, this could only roll up to 8, but I'm going to say that she did 12 damage with it. Who cares? And commit it, and that'll end the combat. I suppose I could have just hit the end combat button, but I don't know. It's more interesting if all the bad guys get what's coming to them. Let's stop the encounter. Now here comes the kind of interesting part. His show log, so you can see the log of the entire combat. And then I can click copy to clipboard. And back behind this window, I've got Claude. And so I'm going to hit narrate, which is a skill that I made that will take my logs from combat and convert them into a narrative. So I just paste all of the notes from that in there and hit the button, and Claude churns. So it's loading that narrate skill, and then it'll read through the example. And then it's going to compose the narrative. So it kind of understands what's going on with the Lizardman. I didn't provide any background notes, which I could have done. I could have taken some of the read aloud from the encounter and pasted in there. I could have given it information about the characters. That would have also worked. I could also have taken the entirety of the YAML from the Obsidian note and pasted it in there. It would still know what to do with it. But then it produces a story based on what happened in the combat, which is pretty cool. The first strike cracked the keystone, second found the fault, and the third was barely needed. So let it go all at once. Yep. Obviously, it's dramatic. It's not precisely what happened in the game necessarily, and it's meant to be just a nice little reminder of what happened and capture it in the story. But otherwise, that's kind of how it works. That's how zones work, and the tags on objects that you can destroy and create new objects and locations and move people between locations, and covers a bit more of what the activity tracker can do.